Hey everyone, welcome to my channel, welcome to my stream, and yet another chapter working on that guy right there. That's our A-10C Thunderbolt 2 by Great Wall Hobbies. We'll run that intro, we'll get right into it, okay? Well guys, we're back, and as you can see on my desk here, I've got a whole bunch of little things that, you know, I'm kind of getting I'm really getting my feet wet in this whole 3D printing thing. I've printed out some engine blowers, things like that. I got some aircraft seats. I got carburetors. Yeah, I'm going a little crazy with it, testing out different things. And yeah, in case you haven't noticed, I've picked up myself a resin 3D printer, and I've been testing all these things and seeing how to do stuff. I even got myself a big Baroness from G.W.H. Yeah, she's kind of half assembled right now, but yeah. But as it turns out, it's making a big mess on my desk. My buddy wanted a little unicorn lifting some heavy weights, so I did that for him. Yeah, anyway, little things that take up time and distract you from what we're actually doing. We're working on this guy here. Now, last time we did get the wings put on and our engines, but I still need to I need to fill in a little bit of a gap here. I'll change the camera so you can see what I'm doing. I'm just going to put a little bit of Vallejo's plastic putty in those gaps, which you can see in a couple of spots, like on the wing roots. I've done that. Let's change the camera here. You can see a couple of spots where I've already put it, and it's white putty, just to fill in some gaps and stuff like that. And I do that on the small gaps to this stuff, it kind of shrinks a little bit when it dries, so it's great in filling in a gap but still leaving a bit of a panel line. And that's what I like about this stuff, is it doesn't really it doesn't totally eliminate your lines. So just kind of squirt it into that little area there, just to make sure it's covered. This side, it looks like it might be good, but just in case, for the sake of continuity, do it on both sides. And I'm going to wipe about 90% of this away, but it'll leave it just inside there. So I want to go right to the edge on both sides, just like that. Okay, and then let's put this away. Paper towel. We're going to start with my finger, kind of wet it just a little bit, and we're going to go wipe what I can get in there with my finger. Sometimes when you wipe, you find you pull some of it away and you got a gap there again, right? Or a hole, so you got to fill that in again. So I'm going to get in there as tight as I can just with my finger, and we're going to follow up with the Q-tip. Okay. Take a Q-tip here, and because it can get in that gap a lot better than my finger can. Wipe that off. Just kind of get in there. That's nice. That's good. We'll get in there on this side. And that's good at getting rid of the excess. You're going to have to get another Q-tip, because all those little rivets really tear the heck out of the Q-tip. So I need another Q-tip here. Grab a couple more. There we go. The nice thing about this is you can just kind of rub it away too much excess on there. That's okay, you can rub it away. Like I said, this is going to shrink when it dries, so it's not going to be really any problem. So I'm happy with that. I filled in any gaps or holes that are in there, so that looks a lot better now. So I think I want to do it on the wing too, especially on this side. I've got a little bit of a gap right there on the wing root. This side is sealed in really good, but I need some on that side. So let's grab this again and give her a little squirt in there. Here we go. Okay, so yeah, just like that. And then I'm going to use my Q-tip and just push that right out of there like that. And that's perfect. And the excess, I can just pull it away. There we go. And that's good, that's perfect. That fills in that little gap. And when that's going to be painted, you're not even going to be able to tell that I did that. The bottom looks good, there's no problems on the bottom. Same with the engines are all nice and sealed in. The engines look good like that. Okay, so that is that. So, what are we doing today? With that done, we're going to let that dry, we're going to let it all cure, harden, and all that fun stuff. What are we going to be looking at today? So, let's grab our instructions. So, last time we did all these little bottom bits and everything, all these little fins and everything that are all over the bottom. I think today we have to do the top. So next page, step 39, they want us to put in the, what do they call that, the pitot tube, I think that's called. They want PE number 6 put on the side of the fuselage. Let's have a look at their fuselage to see. If we go right behind this panel here, that's got a little bit of a, it's not perfectly square, it's got a chamfered edge on the front, that means it's this panel, and it goes right behind it. So right behind here, we've got two little hash marks right there and there to guide us in where we're supposed to put our PE piece. So with that being said, we're going to have to get my proper tweezers. Let's put this here. We're going to have to get our PE pieces and fun stuff, and our CA glue. So PE, we want number 6. Obviously we're going to need number 7 for the other side. Let's just take a look. We might as well do both. Yeah, sure enough, there's two little hash marks right there and there to guide us on where it goes. So it's going to go right in that spot there. And that's obviously going to be number 7. So I might as well do both sides. Knowing that we need to do both, I might as well get them both off of there now. They are identical, 6 and 7. But, let me just move my book out of the way here for a bit while I deal with this. Now, like I mentioned in the past couple of episodes, they've got the contact points on these very, very thin, so they come off very easily. I don't have to use a lot of pressure at all to get them off of there. They come off really easily, just like that. That just came off. And we'll get number 7 here too. There we go. Okay. There we go, 6 and 7. What I do need to do with them is file down those little points, because when you run your finger on here, you can feel the little nub of where it was in contact. So I get it as close as I can to the edge of the pliers or tweezers, and I just run my file along that edge until it becomes nice and smooth to the touch, just like that. Do the same here, turn around, get it on that edge as close as I can, and then do the same thing. Once you feel that come smooth, yep, nice and smooth, you're done. Okay, that's nice and easy. We'll do the same treatment on this guy. Nice. Okay. Then this one. Perfect. Okay. So it doesn't really matter 6 or 7. That makes no difference because they are identical. So we'll get some CA glue. And a sip of coffee. The sip of coffee is very essential, especially at the time of morning that I film these. So I have a tendency to be a very early bird. In fact, the birds outside my window kind of make sure that I'm an early bird. Okay, so got my special applicator. And we're going to get this, and we're going to put some CA glue in our little spot there. I'm going to move this here just so I can do this. And we'll use this, and we will put some glue along that spot. Grab our piece, line them up. Just like that. A little press. There. Good. Now add a little more just along that edge because I want to make sure she's going to stay. So I like to run it along the edge. This glue is really thin, and so I like to take advantage of the capillary action of it, and it runs underneath the edge there for me, and that's done. Okay, so that's one side done. All right, flip her over. This side's going to be a little harder for you to see because of, yeah, there we go. I'll just turn it upside down. So again, we're going to put it in right in this little spot here. Okay, you guys, the camera's not going to pick this up, but there's little hash marks right there and there, and that's our guide as to where it's supposed to go. This glue works so fast, my applicator is trying to glue itself to it. Well, this one dropped out of my tweezers, so it's going to be a little hard to, there we go. Whew. I got lucky, it didn't glue quite quick enough to stop it from moving, so I got lucky on that one. A little too much there. Let's just wipe that away. There we go. There we go. And that piece is on. Okay. So I don't like to leave CA glue in my little container like that, because that can take a long time to dry. It kind of turns into a glob. And so I will soak it up with a Q-tip. There is something in these Q-tips that causes my CA glue to really act like I've put accelerator on it. It actually causes it to smoke and burn my eyes every time. I don't know why. It's really crazy. There's some kind of a chemical reaction with the cotton on my Q-tips. Anyway, you guys, that's neither here nor there. Okay, so that's done. So with the photo etch done on the sides, I'm not going to put in the pitot tube because that's just a recipe for it to break off while I'm finishing the rest of the build. So what I'm going to do is highlight this so that I don't forget to put that on later. So we go to the back. Remember last time I put the PE parts on the top, right? I put the wrong ones on the top, so I had to put the wrong ones are also going to Yeah, PE8. Oh, when it's supposed to put PE8, I wound up putting, what did I do? PE9. I put number 9 on there instead of 8. It doesn't really make that much of a difference. It's just, that's the way it is. So they're already on there. So I need A7 to go on their little section here. So let's find A. There's my A tree. What's left of my A tree? A is this big one, I believe. Yes, A. So we need A7. Where's number 7? Way down over here. All right. A7. A7 is undergated, so we have to clean these up like this. Okay. Clean up our little nubs. You know, undergated does not guarantee no nubs. There we go. In fact, it just puts the nubs on a different edge. You still have to clean it. In this case, I need a nice smooth, flat surface. All right. So A7, it looks like it does have a front. So you've got a little rectangular block that's on the top, and it's not in the middle, it's kind of on one side. So it's facing this way, it's right here, and that should be facing forward according to our picture. And it's going to sit on our little nub here, just like that. So let's grab some glue. And glue that down. Okay, that's installed. A7 is done. Very simple, nothing really to fit. Every other A10 I've built, that has been molded into the top of this and not as a separate piece. In fact, the last A10 I built, the whole engine assembly was one big piece that you fit onto the top of the fuselage, which created a great big seam line here and here. So it's nice that they've done this as separate pieces, because it's a lot more, it's just a lot more refined. And of course the fact that everything is fitting together really nicely on this kit, yeah, I almost feel a little bit sad that it's going to be, I'm giving this away. Okay, so that's this part done, and now all of a sudden we got to do stuff on our canopy. So our canopy needs a lot of work. We grab Q1, this guy here, Q1. Let's get this off of the sprue. Well, back in the day when I first opened up this kit, I noticed there was parting line along the center of this. And because there's a parting line there, I need to clean that up. Okay, speaking of clean up, we need to clean up our nubs. Want that nice and smooth. Want this nice and smooth. this one nice and smooth. All of them should be smooth. If for no other reason, because you want it to fit. This one is a little bit. There we go. And our fourth one here. Right at the very back. That needs to be cleaned. All right. We're good. Now, we need to deal with the seam line. So the first thing I'm going to do is kind of run my file over it. Like, why are you ruining it? You're just creating scratches on it. Well, we're going to fix these scratches. The thing we need to do and focus on is getting this lip down and getting rid of that. Okay, because you can feel the seam, and that's the problem with this. So the first thing I'm going to do is get rid of that edge. There's all kinds of different techniques you can do. Some guys actually take the knife and they scrape it down. That works too. I'm just using my razor file because once it's done its job, it pretty much stops cutting, and that's what I like about it. So just going to do both directions. Okay, so we've got a good starting point. Now we got to get some polishing compound and a Dremel and that fun stuff. So I'm going to grab my cordless Dremel. Okay, so I'm going to get my cordless Dremel and I'm going to use a cutting wheel and I'm going to dig right into this. No, I'm kidding. Don't do that. Don't use a cutting wheel on your canopy glass. Now, where is my little buffing wheel? Here it is. I got my little paper buffing wheel. Okay, that's what I'm going to be using. Okay. I'm going to make sure it's clean. Nothing. There we go. Okay. Get any kind of crusties or anything of that off of there. And I like to use, to me, is polishing compound. I like to use the finish compound on these clear parts because it, well, to simply put, it doesn't cut too deep into the plastic. It's not very abrasive. This is supposed to be the one you use to finish your polishing. Hence the name, finish. Okay, now I'm going to put this over my leg. I'll change the camera to my normal view so you can kind of see what I'm doing here, because I can't do it over my desk. I need to do it over my lap, kind of in front of me. So I kind of do this. I'll fix my little camera here so you can kind of see a little better what I'm doing. There we go. Okay, so I'm doing it over my leg, and I'm going to have it like this, and we're going to go along this way on it. Okay, so I'm going like this along it. Okay, and then I'll do crosswise as well. We're going to do both directions. I'll just do it on the very first click. We don't want a lot of heat. We don't want heat. Heat is the enemy. Okay, so you just take your time. Don't really press down. Once the compound has kind of disappeared, we'll add a little bit more. Okay. The nice thing about this is pretty much right off the bat, it's already done a really good job at getting rid of some of those little scrapes that our file is done. So it's nice and clean looking now, right? Already, it's looking a lot better, but we're not done, right? Because even though it looks better, it's not done. So we're gonna add a little more. Put a little more on there. You're just going to wipe it on. You don't need a lot. You don't want to. That's another thing that's kind of bad about this stuff is it splatters. It splatters on you, and that's not fun. Splattering's not fun. So this time I'm going to go this way with it instead of this way, right? I'm going to go crossways on it. So again, just the very first setting on it, the lowest setting, is again, we don't want heat. You don't want to warm up the plastic. That's going to be a very detrimental thing, is to warm up the plastic. I risked doing that on my 1/32 scale F15, and that was not a happy time. I did actually get it. Okay, looking at this now, we're almost there. I think one more run, another run parallel to the line might be exactly what we need to get her done. So do it again. Oh, my battery just died. Oh no! It's not the end of the world. Just because the battery died doesn't mean I'm out of options. I think that same Dremel tools would fit in my little, in this one. This one's just not cordless. I think the chuck is the same size. Yes. This will work. Okay. Cordless works too. Let's just get the USB in there. My power supply. There we go. This one doesn't have as much power to it, but we can get it done. Looks like I did leave a pretty good scratch in there from my razor file. It kind of dug in a little bit. I guess I pressed too hard, so we're gonna have to buff our scratches out in this one little spot. See a couple little scratches right there. The rest of it looks good, but I got some scratches right there, so I need to focus right there in that spot. A little bit more compound right there. I think I got a spot or two I missed up there too. I think we're at a point where I might be calling it done. know once I wipe away my excess on here. Let's see. Scratches are a little persistent. Because they're deeper than I thought they were. Oh, I think I got them now. I think that's it. Alright. We are good. Okay, our canopy is clean. Let's get that out of there. Put her away. Okay. I'll just put this away real quick here. Get in your home. This is your home. You like your home. There you go. Alright, so close this up. Switch your camera back so you can see a little bit better. Okay, so with our parting line gone, I was left with a little bit of a scratch right there, but that is okay. That's not the end of the world. I can actually feel it. I dug in there too hard with my razor file. Okay, unfortunately I did go a little too hard there, and so I've got that little blemish, but it is what it is. Now we've got bits that are supposed to go in here, but I want to prime this guy, which means this needs to be masked. Okay, I need to mask this off, and then I need to get some primer on this. This needs to be painted basically fuselage color, because he's going to sit, you know, it's kind of going to sit right there. And it's interesting little take. I'm having this with the canopy open, so the canopy will not sit down right now. The canopy won't close. It's going to be open. So this is going to sit something like this, and it's going to be open permanently, right? Because she don't fit flush. And that's because of this guy right there. And we did this on purpose. We did this with the intention of having the canopy open, right? So let's take a look at something else, because that needs to be, I need to mask that off and then prime it before we put any of these little tidbits on. I could put I-13 and 25 together, so let's take a look at those. I'm going to find my I tree. Here we go, I. So here's 13. Let's get this off the sprue. And 25 right over here. Okay. This was undergated, so we got to clean that up. And although not undergated, this has some funny blemishes on the side here. Evidence of the gating being there, but yet it wasn't. It was on the tip. Okay. Be a little bit careful when you're taking these nubs off. Okay, so this and this go together. Nasty looking nubs here. There we go. This is going to go in here. They've got little 4 little indents here, 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 and here for our 4 little things to go into as your guide as to where it's located. Just like this. So we can glue that in. And 4 spots plus the back, and have her glued in there just like that. Okay, just like that. Okay. And make sure you have your holes facing you. You see in the picture here that you can see the holes are facing in this direction with our little notch right there. And that's these holes here and here with our little notch. Make sure that's facing in the same direction. Don't have it upside down, okay? And then this guy would go in the canopy, kind of like that. They don't really point out exactly how it's supposed to fit. It looks like you've got a little notch here and here on this 2 sides, little notches, and you've got 2 little stubs sticking out on each side, and I'm gonna guess that's where it's supposed to line up. And that is exactly where it's supposed to go, and you can see this is supposed to go into the back of that. So if we do a little pre-test before painting, it's going to go something like this. This part, I'm guessing this has to go onto this part here like this, and would sit like that. That's my guess. And then of course the canopy sits like that on top. But with this little notch sticking out here, I wonder if that has... That's the way this would sit if we were doing closed canopy. It would sit like this, which means I'm guessing there was supposed to be a square piece that goes over this little hole. Let's take a look. And we're supposed to put our mirrors on, mirrors around the perimeter of the canopy. Again, this is going to have to wait until later because I need to mask and paint the inside of the canopy here. I need to paint this piece black. It's all going to be black. Let's take a look. I want to see. Yes, we're supposed to put A-16 on the back of that right there and cover that up. And they do show this is in the open state, which is what we're doing, right? And then this is all for the open state. So yes, we line up our little pins that are on this guy and line them up at the very top there, and then just put this down over top there. Okay. Anyway, so that's it for this. Still got some time. We can do our little this little thing that's supposed to go here. We can go 08 and 09. Let's find that. Here we are here, 8 and 9. We can assemble this. Okay, take these. Alright, so got a little hole in there. Whoops. Got a hole in there. Now they have it. My initial thing would be like this, but that looks like it's wrong. It looks like it goes like this. If I turn this around so it's facing the same direction as the picture, we have this guy like that, okay? And then we want this so the top of it is forward. Forward of our point, our arrow. Like this. So I'm going to put, because it doesn't want to slot in anywhere, I'm just going to put some glue on there. And help this kind of find its home and kind of stick together like that. We want it nice and straight, or at least as straight as possible, 90 degrees. I'm going to grab tweezers so that I can hold on to it and get this straight. I think that's good. I'm going to add more glue. Try and get that as close to straight on there as I can. Okay, so there's that. If I can get this to focus for you. That's that piece there. You see how it's facing forward. Because the camera will focus, it faces forward, right? It doesn't, it's not facing backwards. So we're going to let this sit for a minute. Let that cure. Q5 goes kind of right behind it on the back of the fuselage there. Q, of course, is our clear tree. The Q stands for clear. And here's number 5 right here. There's a big nub on it. He's supposed to go right here, and we want the big part, it's kind of a teardrop shape, and we want the big part going back in the back. So I'm just going to pick it up here and just kind of put them down until I can figure out his actual orientation. Because of the teardrop shape, it's hard to pick it up. I think that's upside down. Maybe that's upside down. It's really hard to tell. Okay, that's how he goes. Alright. Put some glue into that little channel. And then I'm just going to kind of slide him in there. Like that. Give him a little push. Don't push down too hard because you've got all those little bits on the bottom, right? Don't forget you have all of these guys on the bottom there, so you don't want to press down so hard you flatten these guys out and ruin them. Especially with the weight that you have in this plane. This is a heavy plane now, so you got to be careful of that. Okay, so there's that. We've got our little light or beacon or whatever that is in there. Now we have some options here down at the bottom. Okay. Down at the bottom here, so now they're showing us to put on PE7, which we've already done. PE7 is on there. Now you have options. You can either close up the door for the ladder, or you can have the ladder sticking out. I'm going to have the ladder down because I'm doing a kind of a, kind of a situation where this plane is sitting on the runway or whatever, right? So I'm going to be having this open, so which means I'm not going to be installing this right now. This is going to be done after, because I've got, especially with a paint scheme that I'm doing on this, I've got to do a bunch of masking and everything like that on this fuselage before I paint it. So this all kind of has to wait. All these little bits like this have to wait. But we can install N1 right there. N1 has to go in. It looks like we have an option. We have an option here. We can either use PE5 for that spot or N number 1. Let's take a look at N1 and just so we can have a little of a comparison of what these pieces look like together. Okay, so find my N tree. And here's N. N1 is this tiny little bit right there. Okay, right there. There's N1. Okay, right there. And if I look at PE number 5, it's basically the same piece, only it's flat. It's just that, this is thick, but I mean, it's not bad. If I get this off of here, okay, this is supposed to go in a little circle. There's a little circle right here. I think it's supposed to be a handle of some sort. I'm just going to use the plastic part. I don't see really any benefit to saying, hey, I'm going to put the PE piece on there. Especially it looks like the PE piece is supposed to be bent. So I'm just going to use the plastic part. I'm going to put a little bit of glue right in that little hole. And this guy goes right there. Just like so. Yeah. I don't see really any. I'm not seeing any kind of a benefit to doing the PE. I think that's good enough just like that. Yeah. And once that's cured, it's going to stay there, and yeah. It's a very minor detail that really doesn't matter. Okay, so that's done. So that's on there. And that would be it for this page. Let's see what's next. Let's put our model down. Flip her over. Okay, this is more canopy stuff. So if you're doing the canopy closed, you're going to trim off the piece off your A16. And apparently we've got A14 as your door if you're doing it closed, right? You'd have to trim off that piece there. And that would be it. So A16 would go there, then you glue your canopy down and you're done, right? And normally I would do that if I wasn't displaying this with the canopy open. I would do it kind of this way. I wouldn't glue the canopy down, but I'd put it down just for that sake, but I'm not doing that. So let's flip her over. Oh, now we've got all our pods, our weapon pods. We're finally at the point of the build process of getting all our weapons ready, all of our ordnance. I've already done this, okay? I have all kinds of the weapons railings already painted, and I've got these R11s, all the mounting points for the bombs and stuff already installed and painted. It's a very simple process. You just put them all on, and it's all done. I have a few of these rails that are all painted and finished and stuff like that. Yeah, so with that being said, basically you're just going to do this, and you're going to put your weapon on them like that, however particular fashion that you need to do, right? Different bombs all have holes and stuff like that to line up on these, and all like that. Okay, these, as you can tell, I've been doing a lot of painting on these and getting them ready. No decals yet, so it's a lot of work. There's a lot of ordnance on these planes, so they showed these particular ones. If you're going to do your GBU-12, the 31 or the 38, you've got to cut that little nub off of the parts, but only for those particular bombs, right? And it all depends which railing, which call out you want to have on them. Flip the page, we've got the other ones, different pods. Again, I've done these parts, gluing your R13 into the little slot on your R3. They're all done. I say they're all done, but I gotta find them. I've had them sitting and done for a long time. Here it is. I did them all on the sprue. Right, so for R3, this one here, R3, that's this guy here, we put our little R13, and that's been glued in on the side there, and it mimics the one that's already molded in on this side. Okay, and then of course our more R11s put into the bottoms here. The only challenge really is to make sure that they are lined up straight and perpendicular so that your pins are facing the same direction. Okay, you do that, and then you get to the actual assembly of our bombs. The only thing I found was disappointing was Q8. Q, of course, being our clear tree. Q8 right here was a little clear piece. Where are we here? This little clear guy goes right on the tip of this bomb. Okay, right on the tip, it goes right there. Okay, but we have two. Whoops, we have two of them. We got two, but I only have one Q8, and that is it. I have another glass piece on here, number 4, which looks kind of similar, but looks a little bigger. It looks bigger than that. It's definitely not the same, but I definitely don't have a second Q8. I'm really disappointed with that, because I've got two bombs. One of them is not going to have the clear lens on it, and that's stupid. That really is stupid. That's the one flaw I've really found in this kit, is that it's like that. And that being said, I do have this, and I've got this rail. This rail is 3 pieces. These glue onto this like that. Okay, and then this goes down on top like this. If I get it to line up. There we go. So it's going to sit like that. So kind of 2 points where it connects. There we go. So the thing is, you want to have it straight up and down. You want it perpendicular. You don't want your bomb crooked, and you want it straight along this axis too. So you got 2 axes to worry about. That looks pretty good. So there we go. The camera might not be picking it up, or you might be able to tell these are 2 different colors. These bombs are all the bombs are light ghost gray, while the railings are a different color. So yeah, Yeah, the railings are basically the color that the plane is supposed to be in. They're all different. So anyway, that's that one, right? Now I have a second one that I've done, or I need to assemble. It's a shame that I'm really not going to have two bombs that look the same. Then we've got our pod. This is what this one's done. I have it here. That's this guy here. He's a unique color all on his own. With, of course, the railing being a different color. We've got our clear piece in the end there. That's this one. We flip the page. We've got our fuel tank. It's this guy here. Fuel tank's finished. Fuel tank's all done. We've got the ECM pod. That is this guy here. ECM pod. Very simple. Two halves go together. Put the rail on top of it. Two halves of the nose, and then assemble it, and you wind up with something that looks like this. Okay. You have the AAQ-28V pod. That is here too somewhere. Where are you? Where are you? There's so many pieces, so many pods. I remember painting him. There he is. This guy here. Okay, he's got the little ball in the front that rolls. You can roll this around and have it in any orientation that you want. I find it's a little tight in one little spot, but it's just the way it goes together. But it works. It works. You can roll that around and position it however you like. Okay. Two holes in the top for his little rail, wherever he's going to be located. We have our AIM-9L missiles. Okay, AIM-9L missiles. What I've done is I've decided to not use the missiles that come in the kit, just because of all the fins. I don't know why they're making you put all 8 fins on the missiles. Other kits that I've had from Great Wall Hobby, they don't make you do this. I put 1 fin on just as a test on it. Yes, the detail is there. It's a nice crisp detail on this Sidewinder missile, but yeah, I don't like it. So I grabbed a couple of missiles out of a different kit that it's just spares that I had, and I cleaned them up and I painted them, and so there we go. These were already assembled and done. I just need to do the final details on them, and these will look good and there'll be no problem at all. Okay, and of course you have the rail for them, and those rails I have sitting here somewhere in our pile. Here we go. Here's the rail for them, for the 2 missiles, the 2 air-to-air missiles that this plane has. So anyway, there's that, and these are just going to go on the sides, just like this, right? And that'll be it. Bingo, done. Okay, that's that. Then we've got our launchers, the LA Youth 131 launchers. That's these 2 guys. We've got 2 of them. Okay, just simple cylinders. We've got a GBU-38 bomb. You got 1, I think. It's not this one. Oh no, we got more of these. We got a few of these. These are the ones we got a lot of. We got a lot of these bombs. Okay, these guys here. Only have to put 2 fins on these bombs, and then you put a little nose nub on there. We've got our GBU-31, which I have, again, we're somewhat painted here. This guy's done. This is an olive drab that I used. The GBU-12 bombs, got a couple of these. Again, only 2 fins to put on. Then you put the nose, and then you put the little cone on the nose. And that's it for this guy. Okay. I didn't do a very good job of cleaning up the seam line on this one right there, but that's not too bad. It's not a big deal. I did the same on this one. So yeah, there's that. And we have our ALQ 184 ECM pod, which is this guy here. I've seen this guy on different aircraft. I believe this is a anti-radar or a radar jamming pod. I believe that's what the purpose of this thing is. Not too much to do. Two halves go together, two things on each side, and then your nose cap, just like that. That's done. And then of course a page that tells you how to, all the colors and everything for all of them. And of course everything is light ghost gray, except for a couple of pods, gunship gray and then medium gray. They're two different colors. It's very subtle. I still have to do some painting on tips and things like that. Lots of stuff to do. Do all that off camera, and then we'll put all the pods on. Our pods, all of our pods are all light ghost gray, every single one of them, right? And you put them all, they all have their own little designations where they're supposed to go, and so you can just match them up and you put them on the wings. Okay, that's all later. And then you have all your ordnance callouts, whichever one you decide to do, right? You just choose which bombs go where, and that's that. And then we've got all our decals, stencils, things like that. And then that is halfway, that is the end of the book. And that's it. So as far as 99% of the assembly, we're done, right? Just about finished, complete for the assembly. But the series is not done because I got painting to do. I believe what's going to be next is painting the fuselage and getting our camouflage colors done. Okay, so that's what we're going to focus on next time. That's what we're going to be doing next time. But for now, this is what we're going to call for the day, and I'm going to get going. So I want to thank you guys for watching. I know that my subscriber total is slowly building, and I really appreciate that, guys. Thank you so much. By the way, if you haven't subscribed already, I would really appreciate it if you did hit that subscribe button down there. That would be really cool. And if you like this stuff, please hit the like button and leave me a comment down below. I love reading your guys' comments. It's really cool. Yeah, it just makes me feel a little bit more connected to you guys, and I really appreciate it. And I love hearing your feedback. And yeah, let me know. Give me criticism. You know, if you think I'm doing this completely wrong, let me know. I'd love to hear from you. Anyway, guys, thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you all in the next one.